Hi there, my name's Simon from CramTheExam.com and welcome to another walkthrough video for another English exam question. In this video I'm going to be looking at the CAE Listening Part 4 Multiple Matching question. And this particular question you'll find on the excellent website engexam.info. You'll see a link to both the website and this exam question in the video description below. So make sure you do the question before you have a look at what I'm about to tell you. In this video I'm going to tell you what the answers are, and I'm going to explain to you why I think the answers are the answers. So in case you got the question wrong, and I'm sure you didn't, but just in case you did, then hopefully my explanations will help you understand why. Point out some useful vocabulary, point out some hints, tips, things like that, and hopefully leave you in a better position to do your English exam, in this case the CAE listening paper. Okay, so let's go through it. Part 4. What I'm going to do is, you can see all of the correct answers behind me. So these are the answers for the first 5 questions. So I'll have a look at those 5 first, and then I'll have a look at the second 5 questions. No, I won't. I'll do it the other way around. No, I will. I'll have a look at the first 5 questions, and then I'll have a look at the second 5 questions. So, for task 1, for question 21 to 25, choose from the list the problem each person encounters. And speaker number 1 is B, which is poor pay and conditions. Where is our answer? Well, the good thing about engexam.info is that it underlines the text where you're going to find this vocabulary link. And so we can see it here. Earning next to nothing and holding meetings in the office the size of a shoebox. So if I can bring back my questions, here we go. This is poor pay and conditions. Earning next to nothing, holding meetings in a room, in a very, very small room. So clear vocabulary links there. For speaker number 2, it is F, which is excessive responsibility. And you can see that in the underlined text, I do have a lot on my plate. It's probably too much to handle. If you have too much on your plate, if you don't know what this idiom is, make sure you make a note of it and write it down. To have too much on your plate is to have too many things going on. In this context, we're talking about responsibility at work. So I've a lot on my plate, I've got a lot of responsibilities to deal with, and then at the end it says probably too much to handle. In other words, more than I can deal with. So here, this is clearly excessive responsibility. For speaker number 3, the answer is D, which is conflict with management. And we can see that quite clearly. First of all, the link to management is as it's underlined here, the people in charge. The people in charge. People in charge, clearly management, because people in charge are leaders of managers of some kind. And it says here that they refused to take responsibility for it. We had a number of bitter exchanges, read into that arguments, and I ended up seething with rage. Well, that sounds to me like a conflict with management, and that's why the answer is D. For speaker number 4, it's H, as you just see at the bottom of the screen, which is an inefficient IT system. And we can see that here there's 2 areas, 2 underlined sentences which will help you to find that vocabulary link. First of all, reliable flow of data. Data isn't always connected with IT, but given the wider context it is, particularly as the next underlined piece of text says, on it that technicians to sort it out. In other words, technicians generally work with IT-based solutions, IT-based equipment, that kind of thing. Not always, but generally IT technician is a job title that we would have. And of course, if you put technician with data, then that refers to IT people or an IT system. And those are why... Oh, sorry. And lastly, speaker number 5, which is C, as you can see at the bottom of the screen, a difficult colleague. She's got such a bee in her bonnet. If you've got a bee in your bonnet, another idiom means there's you're really, really excited or energized or something. Or in this context, it's meant rather negatively. In other words, she's panicking about this thing or she's worrying about this thing. Basically, you're overreacting in some way to some kind of situation. That could be both positive and it could be negative. And it's about this internal promotion. You just can't reason with her. In other words, you can't get her to understand your point of view. She won't listen to other people. She has what she has in her head, and she's obviously stressed out or excited by this, which means that she is difficult to deal with. She's difficult to deal with. So, and the context tells us that it's with someone that we are working. So you might think that it's A, because you might think, okay, troublesome client. There's certainly indications that this is a troublesome person, but this is a fellow employee, not a client. So therefore, the answer is going to be C, which is a difficult colleague. Okay, all of that with 1 to 5 looked at. Let's have a look at the next set of questions. I'll just move this across so we can see them. So speaker number 1 is, the answer is G, miserable in their present job. And we can see that here with the underlined text. I'm just being taken for granted. I feel as though my spirit's been broken. You can see this underlined here. Well, if your spirit's been broken, it sounds as if you're pretty miserable. In fact, they say it's awful. Clearly, this person isn't feeling too great, and it means that they are miserable in their present job. For speaker number 2, the underlined text says, I can't wait to see what happens when I implement my new time management plan at work. Can't wait to see something means that you're keen. You want to do something, you're keen, and certainly this new time management plan is a change of some kind because it's new. So therefore, that gives us our answer, which is A. For speaker number 3, the underlined text says, I have no idea what I should do about it, which is a very, very clear vocabulary link to H, which is unsure what to do about this problem. For speaker number 4, the underlined text says, the final straw is when I'm deluged with supposedly helpful emails from other departmental heads. Deluged means that you have this wall of water. Normally, a deluge is to do with rain or to do with water, which floods over you. But in this case, we're using the language idiomatically to talk about the amount of work which is just pouring over you. In this case, supposedly helpful emails drowning you at work. So here the answer is E, because the final straw talks about being angry. When you have the final straw, it's the final straw. It means you've had enough. You don't want any more, which shows annoyance, irritation. So that links to our vocabulary. That links to our answer E. And I think there's some missing text here. I think it should say others, annoyed by messages from others, but I'm sure you got the general idea. And lastly, for speaker number 5, so I haven't tried to talk her out of it. I really don't want to get her into trouble by reporting her to management. This links to D, which is reluctant to make a complaint. Now, this sense of reluctance is where you see in this text, I really don't want to get her into trouble. You're reluctant to get her into trouble and then you've got this other vocabulary here, by reporting her to management. If you report someone to management because they've done something wrong, then this is a complaint of some kind, which then links to D, and that gives us our answer. Now, there's quite a lot of excellent vocabulary in this tape script, and that's one good reason why I would ask you to go through the tape scripts, not only just to see if they're available, to go through the tape scripts to not just double check why the answers are the answers, and engexam does a fantastic thing here by actually underlining the answer, but also to have a look at vocabulary that you might use in your writing or in your speaking, particularly at the CAE level. So, for example, never seemed much of a hardship. In other words, it never seemed to be too much hard work. Nice expression here, earning next to nothing. And then you've got an office the size of a shoebox. So a nice Jeez, sorry about that. You've got a nice idiomatic language to talk about small spaces. You've got the gloss seems to have worn off a little bit. In other words, it doesn't seem to be quite as good as it once was. Being taken for granted, spirit's been broken, it's awful. Now, certainly within the context of formal writing, you wouldn't write this. For example, formal letters, reports, proposals, etc., etc. But certainly for informal or more personal use of language or vocabulary, you could write something like this one. I won't put up with it. Nice expression, which I won't put up with it. Links straight to, what can we say? Where is it now? The final straw. I won't put up with it. The final straw. Both are in the same area of meaning. To thrive on deadlines. So you can see how you can go through this tape script and identify great pieces of vocabulary that you can understand the context, you can see how they work, and you can just make a note of them and try to use them in your writing and in your speaking. And then your writing and speaking, as a result, becomes a lot more naturalized. It becomes a lot more advanced, and it should score you some extra points, or at least get you the benefit of the doubt in your writing or in your speaking exams. Okie dokie. If you've got any questions about this video, the exam question that we had a look at, or indeed about my website, CramTheExam.com, which could help you in your English language preparation, then please leave a comment below and I will get back to you. Okie dokie. I'll see you soon in another video, so see you soon.